Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland,
New York,
New Jersey,
Indianapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan.
Iowa, Massachusetts,
Georgia, Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesian,
Bay Lake Tower,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge,
Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs.
Beach Club.
and Wilderness Lodge.
And you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening
to
My DVC Points.
Hello and welcome to DVC Newscast. I am Shannon and this is episode 124. That's hard to believe. And today we got Pete.
Hello.
And Sue.
Hi there.
So it's been a while. I was in Disney World and Universal back in the beginning of September. It seems like forever ago. And you were there too at the same time, Pete, right?
Yeah.
And then I was on a Disney cruise on the Halloween of the High Seas recently, about a week or I guess almost 2 weeks ago. Been traveling and I guess it's been light news. There's been some news, but there was a lot of news today. We're recording on a Thursday night, but before we get into our news story, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor for today's podcast, and that is DVC Resale Market. So if you are looking to purchase a DVC resale contract, or maybe you want to sell your contract, definitely hit up our friends at DVC Resale Market. They also have a lot of information on their website that teaches you about DVC and about DVC resale. So definitely check out their website, dvcresalemarket.com, and definitely, take a look. And thank you so much for their sponsorship. Let's go ahead and we'll get into their news stories. And the first one, I think this is the first time in all my years of DVC that a price has been lowered. So this was a shock. In an unusual move, DVC has actually lowered the price of something, and that's the price has dropped from 22 to 20, and this is for the one-time use points. They had been raised from 19 to 22 back in February, so now they are down to 20. One-time use points are designed for members who are short on points to be able to book beyond their allotment, and a maximum of 24 points can be purchased per use year and have to be purchased through member services. Points cannot be refunded, banked, borrowed, or transferred, so must be used in the year they're purchased. They also can only be used for 7-month booking. Now, have either of you ever used one-time use points?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I did
have a
once.
couple of times.
Yes.
I want to say the first 3 years we used them. We purchased them. And we haven't had to use them in recent years, but we did use them. But I mean, I think we purchased them when they were like $15. And when it got up to 22, it was just like, no. And I guess that was the consensus because I guess people weren't purchasing them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that seems to me like the only reason you would lower them, right, is because people aren't using them. I do think it's very handy that they have that service. When I was writing the notes, I did see that the one-time use points only started in like 2011 or something like that. That it hasn't been through the whole history of. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Right. So it hasn't been through the whole history of DVC. But it is nice if you're like booking a thing and you're like, oh man, I'm like 10 points short. You want that extra night or whatever, that you can do that. Now, I think if you're using the one-time use points every single year, well, it's time for you to buy a new contract.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, definitely.
But if you need it, and as Shannon said, a lot of times when you first join and you're like eager to book and things like that, that's oftentimes when you run short. It's good that it's less money.
Yep.
So.
And there are a lot of people that just don't like to borrow points. They have this, for some reason, the stigma of I can't borrow points. So if they're short a couple of points, I've always suggested to my clients, just to buy them from Disney, the one-time use points.
Yeah.
If you're short 2 or 3 and you don't feel like borrowing, that's fine. You can still do the vacation.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great price, but it's comparable to what you would rent points for. Right. So, it's not a terrible price or anything like that. And if Vicky was here, she'd be arguing against that one, Sue, because her motto is ABB, always be borrowing.
I borrow every year. And the reason why I keep borrowing, my feeling has always been I'm going to take next year's vacation before I die.
That's as good a reason as any.
Now, have you heard anything, Sue? Like, I mean, I know you. Do you have any like sources or anything where you've heard something, or this was a shock to you too?
This was a shock to me. I mean, again, as you said, anytime Disney lowers a price, I mean, that's very unusual for them because typically when Disney sets a price, they will never go below it. So I was really surprised, and that tells me that people just aren't renting the points from them. It's a great surprise. I like the fact that it's at $20, at $2 less, because that puts it more in the ballpark with renting points from somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they came in handy really when we first purchased and we first started using. Now we don't use them, but it's nice if you need it. If you need it for sure.
I wonder if it's related to they've had that sale for direct purchase where you can basically sell back the first year of points for new direct purchases. I don't know if you paid attention to this, Shannon.
I have not.
Or Sue, but they have a deal where like if you buy points at any of the, I don't know if it's still in effect, but it was certainly up to mid-September. I think they continued it. But if you bought points, you could sell back the 2023 points to them for some amount, $23 a point or something like that. And basically that would go against, so let's say you're paying $190 a point for your points, but then they give you back $23 a point. So now you could argue that you're getting your contract for, 167, you're getting your contract for less when you're not really, because you're losing your points. But I think they were giving 20, like in the low 20s for that. Do you remember, Sue?
Yeah, they were giving that. And I don't know if it's still on.
I'm not sure either. As I said, I know it was through mid-September, so it may have ended, but I wonder if they did that and they got a lot more points than they thought they were going to get. And now they have a bunch of points sitting and they're like, oh, maybe we better lower this price. So.
Yeah, you never know. We'll take it. We'll take a price decrease, even if it's something we're not going to use.
That's right. That's right.
Never know when you're going to need it, though.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
So the next story is that the boat service between the Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge is set to return. And that was out since COVID, and they're finally bringing it back beginning October 1st. So on Sunday, the watercraft service between Disney's Contemporary Resort, Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness Resort Campground resumed. It is the blue service. The boats displaying that blue flag follow the route throughout the day, visiting all three docks in rotation. And it's in addition to the red flag boats, which provide direct service from Wilderness Lodge to the Magic Kingdom. Now, it's not really a critical route, but I know myself, when I'm over at the campground or if I'm staying over at Bay Lake, I really do like, when I'm at Bay Lake, I like to take the boat over to Fort Wilderness. I love to visit the Triple D Ranch or go over there and grab some fried chicken at the grab and go. So it gives you that ability to be able to dine in other places and have access between the resorts. I mean, even to go over to Geyser Grill from Fort Wilderness or from Bay Lake, it's very nice to go over there, sit by the river or the waters and have a nice charcuterie plate and an adult beverage and just relax. So I'm excited because I'm going to be at the campground in about 3 weeks. And I am so looking forward to being able to get back and forth over to the Contemporary, go over to Bay Lake and Top of the World.
Yeah, we were at Copper Creek in June and we had wanted to go over to the Fort Wilderness. And then when the boats, I hadn't paid attention to it. So I was like, okay, even though we had our car, we just scrapped it. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, one thing you didn't mention, Sue, was also if you're staying at Wilderness Lodge or Bay Lake and you want to go see Hoop to Do Review.
Right.
It's so convenient versus, okay, I got to get on the bus and then I got to take the bus over to the campground. Then I got to take the bus from the front of the campground back to the thing. And it's just direct there. I was wondering if this was something that was even going to come back, though, because as you just said, it's not necessary per se, but it's good to see it come back for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And we haven't got any comments from viewers. We got about 8 people watching, but so if anybody has any comments, mostly this is a recorded podcast, but we've been streaming it live. If you have any comments, we'll get you involved with the discussion. So feel free to comment on anything that interests you. Third story is mine, though, and I got the big story. Yes, DVC members can now get a free souvenir collectible coin. This has become available for members. It's being offered to DVC members and is available at member kiosks at the resorts and some park locations. I think it hasn't been verified that they have them everywhere, or, it's possible it might run out at some locations. But definitely check when you're at your resort, the DVC kiosk, to let them know you're a member and this is something you can get. The coin has a DVC logo on one side and then symbols for the various resorts on the other. We got this off of DVC News, and they mentioned that Disneyland and Alani might get their own coins, but I haven't seen that yet. So I think that's not confirmed. But we don't know how long this coin is going to be available. Please report back to the My DVC Points Facebook group if you see it somewhere, if you find a place that they're not giving it out. Obviously, it's a little thing, right? It's not a big, not a big deal that they're giving you a little metal coin, but it's part of being DVC. Is we like those little collectibles.
Right.
We like that DVC Magic Band slider. When that came back, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, the slider!" It's just this little piece of plastic.
Well, my motto in life is free stuff is good stuff.
Yes. I like that motto.
Yep. So look at this. We got some comments. James said, how long is that going to last? They did not say how long it's going to last. So my guess is it's going to last till they run out.
Yeah, I think it started happening. We went on September 1st was the day we went to the party, and it started like maybe 2 or 3 days before. And I had every intention to try and go at a kiosk, but we got rained out and I just completely forgot. Forgot. So we're going back in November, and I'm hoping it still will be there.
I got to assume if they're going to do this, they're going to have enough there. It's going to last, a couple months anyways. Ceci Armstrong comments, and this is about the use year points. If you borrowed your next year's points and still need more, can you rent one-time use points still? Yeah, you can. You're always available. I mean, you can only do it once per use year, but you can do it at any time. And again, you got to make sure you're renting it for the year you're going to use the points. But yeah, for sure, you can use that anytime.
And also, I would say you don't have to use your points in order to purchase. It's not like you have to use your points. When I purchased the first time, we purchased because we were staying at a resort that was easy to get at 7 months, but we were saving up our regular points because we knew we were trying to get other points. So you don't have to use up your points in order to purchase them.
Right.
It's just that you can only purchase them one time.
Right. And again, only good at 7 months. They don't technically have a home resort priority, right? Because they're 7 month points.
Correct.
But Shannon's completely right. You don't have to run out of points and then buy them. You can buy them and use them first.
And also, if you cancel your trip, they're still available. However, it has to be 7 months.
Yep.
And they're not going to show up in your account. So you'll have to call to book them.
Right.
Yep.
So those are things to consider. It's something that when you purchase them, just know the risk involved if for any reason you might have to cancel.
Mm-hmm. You better know you're going to use them for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Janice is helping us with the coins. It looks like she said she got hers 2 weeks ago at Animal Kingdom. I assume when you say Animal Kingdom, you're saying the park. So that's a good sign that they are available in the parks. And then Rye says, I personally love the unique art prints from the different resorts. I wish more resorts had them. Yeah, I remember. I think I got one for Grand Floridian and another one they're still giving out the Riviera one, I think.
We were given a Riviera one on the Disney Magic 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think they must have bought like 1 million of those or something, because they've been giving those away for like 4 years.
Yeah.
But no, I think those are cool.
Yeah.
I have an old Key West one, and I have the old Key West lighthouse from the 15th anniversary.
Oh, nice. That's all the comments we got so far.
Okay. Well, we do have some more DVC news. Permits have been filed to commence construction on the cabins at Fort Wilderness. So on September 19th, Disney filed a notice of commencement to begin construction on the 365 cabins at Fort Wilderness. Permit shows to extend through May of 2025. It is expected that the construction will start shortly, and that the cabins will be constructed off-site and then moved into place on the existing pads. It's not known if the replacement will take place in stages, with the new cabins opening to replace the ones that closed. And I also have additional information that's not really public knowledge, but it's not, I wouldn't say insider knowledge, but my son is listed with a child agency, and there was a casting that's actually going on this weekend for shooting promotional material at Fort Wilderness at the end of October. So they were casting families, and specifically multi-generational families to shoot at Fort Wilderness, and it said Disney Vacation Clubs. So they're starting to shoot the promotional materials for the cabins, which I think is great. I'm really excited about these.
Yeah, and I wonder with this, because a lot of times, especially more recently, they're building a tower and you can't really open half the tower for sale, right? And booking.
Right.
You have to build the whole tower.
Right.
This is something that they could get half of them done and then say, okay, we're going to start selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to have all 365 in place. Now, if you read that, it says through May 2025. They've said that it's going to be opening sometime in 2024. So I could see where, we might even see halfway through next year, these start to go on sale, even though they haven't put them all in place. They only have a certain number of them in place, but they don't need them all. It's like back with Old Key West. They did the same thing with Old Key West. Right. When they initially built it, they built it in phases and they started selling it. And that's very similar to what they do with a lot of timeshares. Because of the way Disney does things lately, in which they're all in one single building, it's hard. You can't really do that. But they did that. I guess technically they did that with Animal Kingdom, because they initially sold Jambo.
Yes.
They converted a floor at Jambo to DVC, and they sold that first while they were still constructing Kidani. So it has happened more than once. So I could see that happening for sure.
Well, I'll be staying over there in one of the original log cabins towards the beginning of November for a couple of nights. So I'm curious, and I'll be tooling around in a golf cart to try and see if anything's going on.
Yeah, see if they're starting to knock any of them down, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's two. Most of them are towards the back, towards the entrance.
Right.
But there are 1 and 2 are by Coupe de Doo in that area. And I'm curious if those are going to be the first ones to get switched out. I would think so. I don't know. I just feel like those might be the first 2 that they switch out, and maybe the ones that they tour. I don't know. I'm very excited. And this is the interesting thing. Most people in South Florida don't consider DVC. I've met people that have purchased DVC, and it doesn't really work for somebody in South Florida, because we're not the normal person in South Florida, because we plan our vacations. Most people, it's we're going to go to Disney in 2 weeks, and that's how they plan vacations. However, with the cabins is an exception, because I know a lot of families that they do groups either with friends, groups of families, their kids' friends, or families where they all get cabins and they rent, each family rents a cabin and they do this. I have friends that they do it, and there's 10 families and they do it for Thanksgiving.
Right.
They never would have considered DVC. She has told me, let me know when they go on sale, because they do this. This is a tradition that they've been doing, I want to say, for 12 years, because their daughter is 12, and they're going to consider it, and they're all going to be looking into it. It's going to open doors for people that maybe not have considered DVC, because it's something different.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, the cabins have been so popular to a lot of people, and they still want to use the cabins, and they know that. I mean, Disney knows that the cabins are popular. So you've got a whole group of individuals who typically stay in those cabins, who the only way they'll be able to get into them is if they buy into DVC.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be an interesting one, because I could see a whole bunch of DVC people this wouldn't appeal to at all. I'm one of them. And then I could see a group of people that this very much appeals to. It'll be interesting to see, only because I know the cabins aren't super duper expensive. I mean, they're not cheap, certainly, but they're not for sleeping. What they used to sleep 6? I think they currently sleep.
It's 6. Yeah.
For something that sleeps 6 on Disney property, the price really isn't too bad. And switching to DVC is probably going to be a lot more expensive.
Well, right now, I mean, the cabin in November, beginning of November, the going rate on it was $700 a night.
Oh, is it that high? Okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yep. So the cabins have gone up in price. And when you look at them in the one bedroom that they have a set of bunk beds, and then they have a double bed. Sleeping 6 comfortably is kind of far-fetched unless you've got a lot of small kids. And you do have the pull-out in the living room. but the bedroom is pretty darn crowded and it's small.
Yeah, it is small. I mean, we stayed there. That was staying in the cabin was what convinced us to purchase DVC, because we went for Ryder's first birthday and it was the cheapest way for me to get a kitchen. And at that point it was under $300. It was just under $300. And we stayed, I think, 3 nights, but it was the cheapest way for me to get a kitchen. And I thought, wow, this is a game changer. Going to Disney and having a kitchen, it made it more of a vacation instead of just a trip. That was what made me look into DVC now. And obviously that wasn't DVC and it at the time, but it really convinced me. And our trips have changed. Like before DVC, our trips are very, very different, even when we're in a studio, because you have that kitchenette.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Like that, I remember, because Ryder was only 1. And I think I remember sleeping in the double bed or full bed with Ryder, and Ray slept in the bunk bed because we could not, both of us, sleep in there was 2 adults. We're not going to sleep in that full bed. Yeah, for sure. But they're fun. But you have to either have a golf cart or have a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Janice posted that someone just posted this week that they saw 2 cabins were being rolled away. So that might be those 2 that you mentioned that are by Coupe de Deux. Because I agree with you. Those would probably be the ones they'd swap out first, because those will be their their model cabins, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of those cabins used to be used by a couple of the Disney executives with their families.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the most convenient, because it's right next to all the food and all the transportation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rai Kim said, the only cabins I ever want to stay at are the Cascade cabins. I don't think these are going to be that luxe.
Yeah.
And hopefully there won't be that many points either.
Right. Right. That would be nice.
I'm really interested to see what they're going to look like inside, because
my guess is we're gonna see similar point prices to 2 bedrooms. That's my prediction right here. Is it's going to be a similar point price. It's not going to be a Copper Creek cabin price. It's not going to be a bungalow price.
Right.
But it's not going to be like a 1-bedroom price either. It's going to be that they're going to consider it the value on par, I think, with the 2 bedrooms, even though it doesn't have 2 bedrooms. I think because it has its own bedroom, it has room to sleep 6, those type of things. It's on its own. That's my prediction.
Well, it could be somewhere between a 1 and 2 bedroom.
That's what I think. Yeah,
could be.
I think. I think it's going to be somewhere in between.
Yeah, because I think the 1-bedrooms, especially if you look at the 1-bedroom over at Old Key West, I think the square footage is a little bit bigger.
It's over 1,000 square feet.
Huge. Yeah.
The 1 bedroom is 1,000 square feet.
Yep.
Those are crazy. We ended up, we were upgraded. Only had 1 night, and we ended up getting in really late. So we were getting in at like 10:30 at night, and it was only 1 night, and they upgraded us to a 1-bedroom. And we walk in there and like, this is like, we were literally in there to sleep.
Yep.
And the 2 of us had this 1,000 square foot room.
I remember you posting the live on that. You're like, half asleep, but we got to show this. Yeah.
Gotta show this massive room we're going to be in for 10 hours.
Yeah. So, well, I'm very excited, but definitely, Sue, you are our spy.
Yes, definitely.
Sure, you have video camera, everything ready.
I've got my GoPro all set and ready to go.
All right.
Awesome.
So that leads us to the final story, and that's on Candlelight. Processional narrators were named and released today. The dining packages are available to book as of October 17th. They did release some more details today for the Candlelight Processional narrators. They've been announced, and there's a lot of new names along with some
of new names.
Yeah, a lot of new names. I mean, you've got people in the list, and you can see this in the notes. Chrissy Metz, who's new. Louis Fonzie, new. Anne Margaret, who's going to be there. She's new. Sim Liu. John Stamos will be back. Neil Patrick Harris will be back. Marley Maitland. Brendan Fraser is new this year. Eva Longoria is new. Joey McIntyre is new. Sterling K. Brown, again, another new one. And Jordan Fisher. And then Stephen Curtis Chapman is coming back. Audra McDonald is new. And Lisa Ling is coming back. They've all been listed. As I said, October 17th, you can start booking the dining packages so that you have 7 different restaurants to choose from in the dining packages. And then you'll have your preferred seating to see it. quite a few new names this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about Joey McIntyre, New Kids on the Block. I mean, yeah, that's, and, but Jordan Fisher, I mean, all those Happily Ever After fans, that's fun.
Yeah. And Brendan Fraser. I've always liked him, and even Eva Longoria. I think she'll do a great job too.
And then obviously John Stamos and Neil Patrick Harris back to back. Those are going to be very popular. So
yeah, he's always popular. Marley Matlin's always popular. Yeah. I think Stephen Curtis Chapman's also pretty popular, right? Yes. I was also happy, like, oh, I know who all these people are. Because I didn't know Audra McDonald, and I guess she's an actress that was on Private Practice and The Good Wife and some other shows, and she's also a singer. She's the only one I didn't know from the list, so I'm always happy when I don't feel completely out of touch.
I think she was in the Beauty and the Beast remake in the live version.
Was she the maid?
I don't know, but I want to say she was in that. She's a very, very good singer.
Yeah.
No, I think we're not going during Christmas this year. We didn't go to Christmas last year. It's not something that I'd look at, and I don't even know if we would purchase because we never really sit down anywhere. But I know a lot of people, this is something that they wait for. And this is the first time I've ever seen them release the full list all at once. Now it is late. I don't know when they normally release the list, but there's always a few dates that haven't been filled. And this is the first time I can ever remember them all being filled.
Yep. Everything's filled.
And sometimes they will also like swap out. You might end up having something change at the
right. You're not guaranteed. Yeah. Cause you never know what could happen. So there's always, they do have backups. I know Mark, I forgot his name. He's always on the live streams when the Disney parks do a live stream. He's always like on call. He's a backup. It's never guaranteed. Nothing's ever guaranteed with this type of things, but it's a great thing. And I know it just makes it the holiday season for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely
So
does.
you were right. She was in the live action Beauty and the Beast. She was the wardrobe.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
So Madame de Garde-Robe was the name of the character, but she was the wardrobe.
Okay.
So small part, I think, but you are correct.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything now. Sue, you're there. You're going to Fort Wilderness later this month. Pete, when's your next trip?
Same as you, November 4th.
Okay.
We should mention that the Disneyland Hotel opened, right? This past week. Right. So none of us were there. So that's why we didn't put it in our news stories, but it's still an exciting moment, right? For sure. Yeah. What do y'all think about the photos and the looks of the rooms and everything like that? Are you excited?
I've been so busy. I haven't looked at any of it.
Really?
It's colorful. It's definitely colorful.
I really just haven't had a chance. Just life has gotten in the way. So
yeah,
I want to sit down and watch it, but when I go into it, I'll probably go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll find that the rooms are very, very colorful. Definitely.
I like that they had like a couple different designs for the studios.
Yes.
That, you're not necessarily, you don't necessarily know which one you're going to get. One's Tiana and the other one is for the studio Sleeping Beauty, I think.
It's Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice because that's what they do on the cruise ship. So that's nice.
Yeah. So that there's a little variety there. So that's kind of cool. I've not seen video of the Grand Villa. 3-bedroom, the Grand Villa. Yeah. So we got someone posted on here, Janice, saying we'll be at the Disneyland Hotel at the end of October to attend the Oogie Boogie Bash.
Ooh, that sounds
congratulations.
Like fun. I heard that, and she hasn't been on in a while, but maybe we can get her on soon. Vicky either was just there or is there right now at the Disneyland Hotel. Maybe we can get her to come back on the show for a change. She's been very busy of late, so we haven't been able to get her on.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see the new one open. And now I think everybody's posting construction updates for Polynesian.
Yep. And I did want to mention, I don't plug this a lot, but my website, DVC Help, we do have all the latest information on the new constructions. So we will continue to update. I posted poly photos from earlier in September on there. We got all the latest information on the Disneyland Hotel. I'm going to keep that updated. Our availability charts are already being generated for the Disneyland Hotel. Now, it takes a year to generate them, so they're not very full yet.
Yeah.
So not too reliable. Once the points start being available, we can start surveying and seeing how those are going. You can at least get a little bit of an idea looking at what is filled out to see which types of rooms have 7-month availability and which don't. Right now, it's not surprising, I don't think, but the studios seem to have the longest availability and are often still available right around 7 months. They go pretty quickly right at 7 months.
Right.
But so far, the studios have been available if you're looking for staying out there. There's not a lot of 1 and 2 bedrooms available yet. And I'm not even sure if the Grand Villa, I think there's one Grand Villa that they put up, but from what I understand, that thing was gone.
Wow. No, it's, I mean, I don't know when we're going to get back out to California, but it's exciting to see. You know, we decided not to purchase. We were interested, but we decided not to purchase. But, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get in there at some point at 7 months and be able to experience it.
Yeah, I do predict that because the sheer number of studios, I think we will see it easier to get into than the Grand Californian at 7 months.
I think that's an easy one.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I think much of the year, like holidays, no, the marathon, you're not going to get in there. You're not going to get in at 7 months. But if you're just going for, a week during the summer or something like that, I think you'll be able to get a studio at 7 months without too much trouble there, just because there's so many of them.
Well, and we realized when we went out there July of 2021, we realized, wow, it's so much more comfortable to go to Disneyland in the summer than it is to go to Disney World in the summer.
Oh, for sure.
It was very pleasant.
Yeah.
So that would be when we would want to go for sure.
Yep.
So
So just don't go on a holiday.
Yeah. And then like you said, we're going, I think we get there November 6th. And we'll both be at the first Jollywood Nights. Very excited, planning our outfits. And that's what we're working on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I do have some videos if you are interested on any of the Halloween on the high seas on the Disney Magic. We just got off and those vlogs are up on my personal channel. I think that's it. Not much other news going on. Anything from you, Sue, before we sign off?
Nope. There is another message here from Rai Kim, saying, looking forward to the condo association, not so much the new due statements coming up. So that'll be coming up in early December as well.
Usually beginning December. Yeah. Sometimes interesting things come out of this condo association meeting, but usually not.
Yeah. Well, I'm also going to be staying over I snatched a last minute reservation for one night over at the Bay Lake, and that's going to be on Halloween night. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping to get up to top of the world and be able to watch the fireworks from up there and have a potion or two. Just enjoy. I haven't seen the fireworks for the Not So Scary this year, so that would be really nice.
I can imagine they must be amazing from that view.
My husband and I used to book there for Halloween. We'd book there for 4th of July and for New Year's Eve, specifically to be able to see the fireworks from up there. And the perimeters are beautiful. And on New Year's Eve, they light them off at the island in front of the castle. It mimics what's going on in back of the castle as well. It's a different perspective, but it's spectacular. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say we only recently stayed at Bay Lake Tower, but we've done it twice in recent times. And it's just like, we just wanted to be in the room at fireworks time and watch the fireworks. Yeah. We were no interest in the park. Just let me sit in the room, watch these fireworks. I don't have to fight the crowds. It's perfect. Not a huge fan of the resort, but boy, that's a spot to watch the fireworks from.
If you do 4th of July, you look on the horizon and you'll see the fireworks over at Universal. You'll see the ones from SeaWorld. Yeah. You'll see the ones in Claremont. So all the surrounding cities, you just see all these little pops of color in the sky. It's really kind of neat.
That's cool.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's it for me. If we don't have anything else, we do want to say thank you to our 3 sponsors, DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial, for their continued support of the My DVC Points platform. And with that, I will say, see you real soon, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know I'll come back. My DVC.
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.